If you're a guitar player, or you're into music production, or even if you play synths, you have almost undoubtedly seen tape simulation crop up somewhere in your musical life. From the magic of tape delay, to the wonders of tape saturation, to the subtle beauty of wow and flutter. But for many of us, these simulations are the only thing that we really have access to. We kind of have to take Strymon's word for it. The thing is, I liked those tape simulations so much that I started looking for a real reel-to-reel. And then I was flicking through Instagram and Mick Gordon managed to get this out of his Ampex 601. Yeah, sold. So this is a Revox A77 Mark III. It's built in the 70s. It's a 2-track machine that takes 1/4-inch tape. It takes these 7-inch reels, like this one from EMI, or with these shiny NAB adapters, it takes these 10-inch reels right here. Something just straight off the bat that you don't get out of tape simulations, kind of obviously, is just the cool factor of, there's like multiple stages of cool. There's the cool when you just kind of press play on it and things start moving and sounds start coming out and it's like, wow, that's awesome. And then there's this stratospheric level of awesome that just pours out of it when you play your own music through it, and it just adds that gorgeous tapey saturation-y thing and you're like, wow. Ignoring that though, what's the point in going out and buying a 50-year-old piece of technology for your studio? I am a huge fan of saturation and general distortion and sonic memory, so what does tape actually sound like? I've got a sequence going from the DFAM that sounds like this. And then if we run it through the Revox, just kind of edge of breakup type thing, just where you would want the level to be set, it sounds like this. And then if you hit the Revox even harder, it sounds like this. It distorts in a way that is just so organic and so real that I think you'd really struggle to get that kind of sound out of like a plugin or even a pedal. And you combine that then with the amount of that kind of lovely low end compression that's going on, it pulls the low end out of your signal without ever really getting boomy, and it's just really fun and exciting to use. And you combine that with the visual, like I said a minute ago, and it's like, wow, this is awesome. It's one of the first times in a long time that I have been genuinely excited by a piece of gear. Back when tape was people's main way of recording things or main way of listening to things, there was a need to conserve tape. You know, it's weird to think about now in the kind of digital age, but tape was a physical length of tape, and when you ran out, you ran out. One of the ways around this was to either add more length of tape, one of the advantages of these larger 10-inch reels, or to physically play the tape at a slower rate. So most tape machines have multiple speed settings that you can go in and adjust yourself. So for example, this one has a 7.5 inches per second, or a 3 3/4 inches per second. And what that's talking about is literally the amount of tape that is flowing from here, your kind of main spool, I don't really know what the term is, over to your pickup spool, which is over here. So it's literally if I press play, the amount of tape being fed through in inches per second. So if I stop that for a second, this is at 3 3/4 at the moment. If I switch it to 7.5, the reels are spinning faster and it's feeding more of that tape through. Slowing down from 7.5 to 3 3/4 inches per second did affect the recording quality that you would get, but it did allow you to record for twice as long. You could fit more on that 1600 feet of tape. So for example, now you could fit a whole album or maybe your whole radio documentary onto one tape. Awesome. Nowadays, that allows us to do some really cool and really fun and exciting things. So say for example, I have a track at 100 BPM, okay? And I've got this drum part and I play that drum part at 200 BPM. So it's twice as fast as my track. And then I record it onto tape at 7.5 inches per second. When I switch my tape machine from 7.5 inches per second to 3 3/4 inches per second, the tape will play back at half the speed, meaning that drum part that I just played in at 200 BPM is going to come out at 100 BPM. Cool. So it's kind of like 50 years ago time stretching almost, but now what you get is kind of it's slow motion effect type thing. You get this shift in this pitch shifting in frequencies, and you get this kind of time stretching effect thing, but with none of the digital artifacts that you would get out of, for example, trying to do it in Cubase or Logic or anything else. It's a really unique effect, especially when you combine it with the tape saturation that we were talking about earlier, and it sounds really, really cool. I have got a demo for you. So here is a 200 BPM drum part played in GGD, and then we're going to play it back at 3 3/4 and see what that sounds like. So I recorded that at 7.5 inches per second, and now I've switched the machine to 3 3/4, and we're going to play that back into my DAW and see what that sounds like. It sounds so cool. It's really, really exciting and it's really fun to use. Again, I know I keep kind of stressing that fact, but I don't personally enjoy much kind of clicking around on a screen when I'm trying to be creative. Actually getting into the physical realm with stuff and getting hands-on with things for me is really engaging and really exciting, and it kind of keeps me in that creative space a lot better. So this has been really, really fun, especially because getting those same effects and getting that same sound is a lot more difficult with plugins and all that sort of stuff. There are ways to do it, but it's just not as fun, man. You can hear this kind of effect in the Doom soundtrack, crops up in the Doom soundtrack, and I believe it crops up on a Marilyn Manson album. I think John 5 did it with some of the guitar tracks on a Marilyn Manson album, maybe Mechanical Animals, but I can't remember. Don't take my word for it, I'm sure Google will tell you. The Revox cost me roughly the same as a decent pedal. I did get a good deal on it, but those good deals are out there, and it's been an absolute joy to use. It's so exciting to use. It's just cool to interact with. It combines everything that I'm really into at the moment in terms of the physically interacting with sound and the electromechanical element. It's just awesome. It's just so cool. Thank you so much for watching and for sticking with me until the end. I really, really appreciate it. Let me know what you think of reel-to-reels in 2025. Like I said, I got this for the price of a decent pedal, so I mean, it's kind of cool, man. I'd take that over a pedal. If you want to find Nevermore, you can find us in the links below on socials. Join up for the community forum and get super nerdy with us. We'd love to have you. I will see you next time. Thanks again for watching.